Hello everybody, I'm broadcasting live from Israel. So around the world, we're getting the news that there is judicial reform. Now, there's something called lawfare. This is something that's used by radical lefts in fact, by all radical governments. Hitler used it very effectively. A radical is somebody who basically, as Churchill said, can't change their mind and won't change the subject. They effectively have an agenda. And, there's a line that the means don't justify the end. This is one of the most important lines in history. And of course, when you look at the radical such as Hitler, you see this very clearly. He had an end goal, which was, God forbid, getting rid of the Jews. But if you looked at the means he used, you could immediately see this is a violent, sadistic human being. And the same thing is with the radical left. In fact, all radicals basically have the same problem. It's my way or the highway. They basically have a deep hatred for themselves. Unfortunately, in the left, we're seeing a lack of giving birth to children and all of this stuff. As I heard from a professor of Harvard, he himself was gay, but he had to leave Harvard because he was too liberal. He was conservative compared to them. This notion of canceling someone, of not even listening to their opinion, shows that the real agenda is a deep self-hatred. And this self-hatred results exactly, again, you see it most in its most violent form, because it's really subconsciously hides itself. Hitler wasn't there for the Germans. He was there just to murder. Not only did he murder Jews, he murdered gays, he murdered gypsies, he murdered people that had mental illnesses. He was just a person. As one psychopath and serial killer said, he liked killing people. And so this was the deep evil that had, a heart can either be filled with love for people. It could not be filled, just like anything that you have. You have one of three stages. You either have love for it. I don't know, a tree. You either love it, or maybe for some reason you hate it, or you just don't have any association. So as soon as there's an association to something, chocolate's a good example. I either love it or I hate it. Now, when I love it, I go towards it. I want to eat it. I want to have a benefit. But if I hate it, I do the opposite. I want to destroy it. For example, a mosquito. I hate mosquitoes. When mosquitoes come my way, I try to kill them. I'm a bad person for mosquitoes. But that's because my emotion towards them is hate. Now, hate can be generated from jealousy. Many people in this world, unfortunately, are jealous of life itself, because life and joy, a man once wrote to Lubavitcher Rebbe, I'm living sadly. He said, no, you can't be living sadly, because if you're sad, you're not living. Life and joy are one and the same. Children are always joyous. They're moving. They're excited. When we lose our excitement, we're basically depressed. Often as adults, what we're doing is we're just behaving. We don't want somebody to criticize us. The greatest virus that exists is criticism, and many of us fear it. So what we're really doing in this world is we're not living, we're protecting ourselves from criticism by behaving. But meanwhile, we become jealous of people that are living. I've seen this in myself. Thank God, God has opened my mind to my heart. I know my emotions. Sometimes if I'm not in a good state, I can see a little kid that's happy and something bothers me. I think, what's bothering me? I realize the kid is tranquil, and I wish I was tranquil. This is a natural state that we have. It's called jealousy. And that's why there's anti-Semitism and anti-Israel and anti-America. In fact, anti-wealth. Because many people are jealous. They think that, oh, that person is happy. I wish I had what they had, and I can't have what they had, so let me destroy it. Let me take it down. That's an anger that's caused by jealousy. But the anger that's caused by jealousy is a subconscious anger. You see, people don't recognize that they have this anger. And the same thing is that what the kind of radicals here in Israel are doing is they're not really for democracy. They're pretending they're for the law. But if you're for the law, the way the law works is there is a constitution. The constitution says there is a government, and the government says that the majority rules. They're exactly opposite. They are the terrorists. They are claiming that other people are the terrorists. They are the terrorists. They are the ones that are saying, no, you are going against the law. No, they are going against the law. But of course, they don't see this, because exactly like we found by Nazi Germany, the idea of using the law in your favor when you're a radical, nothing matters. All that matters is your radical vision. And so we say to all people, we are all in it together. This is our land. And our land means that there must be democracy. And what's happened is very important to explain. What's happened is that many places, unfortunately, since Obama became president and he basically ignored the idea of democracy was kind of this radicalism. Okay, I can do whatever I want. He brought this new idea, which is if you have the power, this kind of tribalism. If you're the chief, you do whatever you want. If your job is to I don't know, make any agenda, even if the agenda is good, but the means are always justified. And therefore, you find that he used the FBI to persecute political opponents, etc., because the means are always justified, because I'm right and I am basically, in a narcissistic way, God. I can say what I want. But what do we really need? We really need to understand that that's what's happened to the left, the judicial left, is that they themselves have become part of the terrorists. They themselves ignore the fact that there's such a thing called law. So what Bibi Netanyahu, what the right is doing, is they're saying, listen, let us have a legal system. The Knesset is appointed to make the laws. The judicial system is there only to follow the laws. The whole idea of a constitution, the whole idea of a court, the court doesn't make the Constitution. In fact, the ones that make the Constitution is the government. And in America, you can amend the Constitution. The court is there to uphold the Constitution. This is what we're seeing very clearly, that justices such as, I'm trying to remember his name, maybe it was Scalia, who recently passed away. He was all about protect the Constitution. Your job is not to make the Constitution, but protect the Constitution. But the left is, no, we have an agenda. Girls should be able to go to boys' bathrooms. Whatever the agenda is, we're going to use the law to make our agenda. So this is terrorism. This is using a means to justify an end. And I hope that if you have an open mind, you will realize that our job in this world is to obviously do good, and we need the concept of democracy. It is, as Churchill said, it is the least of the evil called government, and therefore do not buy into this, oh, yeah, really, you're going to burn a car and you stand for peace. No, what you stand for is a violent means to do anything that you want, which is completely evil, completely wrong, and I believe that we all have to unite under truth, under Netanyahu, under the right, which really is not getting rid of democracy, in fact, is creating democracy. Thank you.